Welcome back to the Arrow Panel, the podcast and maybe sometimes video series where we talk about dance games like Dance Dance Revolution and the others. Pump It Up sometimes, In the Groove sometimes. But this episode's mainly going to be about Dance Dance Revolution. And I think that the main goal for this episode is to talk about some news in the DDR community. There's a lot of new machines coming out. Dave & Buster's and Round 1 are the only places that have official DDR machines. And Dave & Buster's just placed a big order with Konami, and they just got a bunch of machines. So a bunch of cities that didn't have DDR are now going to have DDR. So we're going to talk in this episode about what you need to do to get started playing DDR in 2019 and the steps that you'll take to go to the store and buy gym clothes and shoes and go to the arcade and set up your e-amusement card and get plugged into the community.
We'll call it DDR 2020 because we're like Microsoft. We're not going to talk about this year. We're talking about next year, future.
Exactly. We're almost 2020 anyway.
If you take anything away from this episode, it's that we're just like Microsoft.
Just like Microsoft.
Just like Microsoft.
And who are you to be telling me all this information?
Yeah, I'm Roger Clark at Roger Clark on Twitter.
I'm Demo at Bromede.
I'm Dalton at Run Dalton Run on Twitter.
And I'm James at Buzzard on Twitter.
So we're going to just go through our list here. And it's been a while since we've done a video, so it might be a little rocky. But I think the first thing that we were going to talk about is the news of the machines that they're coming out.
Oh, before that, we're going to do a can check.
Oh, the can check.
Yeah. So
we got the can check.
Why don't you start?
Classic Arrow Panel.
You got to open
episode.
I'm drinking right now a Diet Coke Twisted Mango, which I think is probably the best flavor of the flavored Diet Cokes. I really like strawberry guava too, but. Yeah,
there's a lot of twisting in DDR also, so
exactly.
It's a relevant DDR drink, I think.
Exactly.
I've never had this drink before. It's a Splenda infused Diet Coke.
Does it literally say infused?
No, I added that for
Diet
emphasis.
Coke with Splenda.
For emphasis.
Diet Coke with Splenda.
With Splenda.
That's the SKU name. Don't get it twisted. Mango.
And I'm drinking a green Dakara, which sounds like it could be the song title of a DDR song.
It probably is.
And it would even be punctuated like this with the dots in between, which is...
It would even have the Japanese all around
That's
it.
the lychee and yogurt version.
Lychee and yogurt, apparently. But hey, there's only 30 calories, so I'll take it. It's good.
And I'm enjoying another product from Japan, Coca-Cola Clear Lime. There was a big drink craze in Japan about clear drinks. Clear milk tea was one of the things that really freaked us out, and clear Coca-Cola. And I don't think Pepsi ever made a clear Pepsi.
I don't know. I mean, they
Crystal
did
Pepsi.
here.
Oh, Crystal Pepsi.
Crystal
Oh,
Pepsi.
But I don't know if
Pepsi.
they did
Of
in
course.
Japan.
It's called Pepsi.
Crystal Pepsi.
Pepsi's not doing well in Japan. You go over there, it's hard to find.
Interesting.
How does clear milk tea work? Is it just flavored water?
Well, we have some in there.
Oh my god. I'm afraid.
Yeah, there's been they actually published a paper. The company published a paper about how they made the clear milk tea. And has something to do with some sort of new diffusion technique developed inside of a lab.
I think I would sooner
Using
read the
osmosis.
paper than drink it.
Then drink it.
Yeah.
There's polymers and
Well, anyway.
molecules, all the good stuff.
So it turns out...
You can try it if you go to Japan, but what you don't need to go to Japan for is to play DDR A20.
Indeed.
Especially if you live in Kansas City, Pittsburgh, Jacksonville, Hilliard, which is near Columbus, Ohio, Utica, Michigan, Omaha, Nebraska, Maple Grove, Minnesota, which is near Minneapolis, or Phoenix, Arizona.
That's my hometown.
And a whole host of other new cities that have
a lot of places.
There's going to be machines in Cincinnati area, Cleveland area, and those are the ones that I care about since I'm from that region.
Yeah, just all across the Midwest and like
Florida finally.
Florida's getting more machines.
Toronto's getting a machine in town.
Supposedly.
You don't have to drive outside of town to play.
Yeah, to Oakville.
And Florida, there's a D&B Hollywood and D&B, I think, in the Miami area is getting 2 machines. So that's really cool.
Wow, that's
very,
awesome.
very cool. So yeah, lots of new machines hitting out there. So there's going to be a lot of new people that are going to be playing DDR.
And you're all watching this to figure out how to get into the game.
Very true. So the basics. what do you got to do before you play?
So I actually just went through this because shout outs to my wonderful partner, Kat. She just started getting into the game, and we got her an EMU's count, which is the way you're going to be saving your scores. And that's a complicated process. You need to, if you want to take advantage of the full kind of set of features you get, you need to give Konami a monthly subscription fee of about $3 or $4, which you can do via a credit card, which is pretty cool. But I would say that those are kind of really important to get set up with right away. So maybe we can start there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So what is an EMU's card?
Yeah, well, first you can buy it. I mean, it stores your account data. It's like a USB card.
It's the name of their service. Like eAmusement is like their online. It's like their PS Plus or whatever.
Are you guys packing it in your wallet? Do we have?
I think so.
Can we
My
hold up
wallet's
for
over there somewhere.
I don't have my phone.
I don't have my wallet on me.
Yeah.
But
this? You can get some if you go to Japan. You can get a Ubeat themed e-amusement card, or if you install the Suica app on your iPhone,
that is an option.
you can
So-
also use that.
So basically,
yeah.
the idea is there's these NFC cards, credit card size things that you buy either at the counter at Dave & Buster's or Round One. If you don't have one, go to the entrance counter. At Round One, there's like a specific game cards section, but at Dave & Buster's, it's just at where the host or the hostess is, and you can ask for the e-amusement card. Say, can I have the DDR card or the Konami e-amusement card, or just try and phrase it in a bunch of different ways so they look through the desk and find it. And if they don't have that, then you can either find one from someone you know, or you can use the Suica app like Omid and I have on our phones.
Which we're happy to link. I believe 9Volt over at DDR Community has a walkthrough guide. BimaniStyle.com, if you're familiar with that website. They also have a how-to guide. Resources, those are two websites you should be bookmarking also if you're a new member of the DDR community. Extremely helpful. Bimani Style is all about rhythm game news. DDR community is specifically kind of tailored to what's happening, obviously, in the DDR community. So good resources there. And so what can you do with the eMuse card? So it's a memory card?
Basically.
Yeah.
Memory
Like
card?
you remember playing DDR on your PS2, the PS2 memory card. I mean, which you could
And
also
even
you could
the-
even play on the machine.
The arcade machine.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. You can set up rivals.
Very
so
true.
you can basically, when you get an eMuse card and you log in, you have a 8-digit code. That code can be shared like on social media, and so your friends can basically add you to their rivals list. You can have up to 3. You need an eMuse card to do all this, and then
And to keep the game interesting,
Yeah.
also, there's a kind of an unlock system. So
Right.
it starts off, there's a lot of songs that are locked, and the only way to unlock them is with an e-amusement
Exactly.
card.
Yeah.
So you start playing with that fairly regularly. You'll start the game will start to show you things that you're progress towards unlocking songs.
Yeah, A20. Oh, I guess the A20 has the
There's some events that happen.
the events that
Yeah.
are still going on right now.
Basically,
but there's
they
always new kind of event.
Yeah, they
unlock
released
events and
DLC
stuff.
for the game, basically.
Yeah.
And in order to access that, you have to use the e-amusement account. And so once you get the card, you can tap it on the machine and log in. And then you can go home later that night and sign up on the Konami ID or the My Konami or whatever it is website.
Or you
Yeah.
can just do it from your phone.
Or you can do it from your phone. That's
Yeah.
true.
So important to
forgot
note
about the mobile internet.
Yeah, important to note that when you do sign up, that you should sign up in Japan region,
Yeah, just set your region to Japan.
because that allows you to, as Omid mentioned earlier, to enable basic course subscription, which you have to buy PASELI, which in Japan is
You actually
like,
don't. You actually don't even do it anymore.
Oh, yeah, you can.
Well,
credit
no,
card.
You can
no,
use your credit card.
but you have to buy PASELI. You still have to buy PASELI,
Yeah, that's
but
true,
you
yeah.
can buy the
Oh.
PASELI with your credit card.
Okay.
You used to not be able to buy PASELI with a credit card. You used to have to
Gotcha.
buy BitCash to buy PASELI, but you still have to.
And PASELI is how you pay for arcade games in Japan, basically.
They have their
Konami
own
and
currency.
Konami currency. Konami currency.
It's not on the blockchain yet, but it's going to be soon. And you can find a link to how to do this stuff in the comments on the
In the
podcast
description, yeah.
or the description of the video.
And we should also mention that the basic course subscription is optional. You don't
Yeah.
actually have to buy it.
And you don't even
It's,
have to have an e-amusement card, but you
Yeah.
if you want to get serious about it, go for it. But
For
if you just
sure.
want to go to the arcade and play, you don't need it.
Yeah,
So,
but the basic course allows you to turn on fast slow, which lets you know if you're hitting arrows a little bit earlier or a little bit late.
Which
gives you-
only makes a difference if you're really trying to get good at the game. Honestly.
Yeah,
If you're just
it
trying
gives
to
you
have
access
fun.
to a couple of different options. Fast slow is one of them. Another one is the darkest screen filter, which is all of this stuff is configurable through the web interface on Konami's eAmusement website.
Yeah, we should post that website too in the show
Yeah,
notes.
it also allows you to change your character in the game. So the 3D dancing character in the background.
All very
Like,
important
all
stuff.
very important stuff.
Does it? Does
but-
that,
It's
I
random
totally
since day
forgot
one.
about that. I
Yeah.
just like
Yeah,
don't even pay
you-
attention.
Most
to
people
it.
don't pay
Yeah.
attention.
Because
yeah.
you're paying attention to the arrows.
Yeah.
But the most important thing for the basic course subscription, I think, is access to all of your scores on the nice eAmusement website
Yeah.
web interface.
Yeah.
And it
So-
allows you
Good
to
segue.
use the apps
Yep.
to like download your scores and
Yeah.
keep track of stuff like
There's
that.
the very important is the DDR A score manager or score
DDR
manager.
Score Manager A.
DDR Score Manager A is an app for iPhone and for Android that you can download and like import, but you have to have the basic course subscription. But it imports all of your scores into this app and makes it really easy to like see everything all at once because the eMuse site is not super great for that. So this
Yeah.
allows for a lot more sorting options, and you can just see at a glance like basically all of your scores, and it has a lot more statistics and stuff about like what your average is on a certain folder and things like that. So it's very, very useful to have the basic course subscription and the app.
Yeah. And this stuff sounds complicated, and it
It
might
is.
be a little complicated, but you only really have to do it once. And like we said earlier, you don't actually have to do it if you want to just totally just like jump into the game.
Totally. But it helps.
If
And
you're-
then before you have anything else to say about cards?
No.
Yeah. So before you even head to the arcade, though, you got to go shopping.
Yeah.
You got to get your swag on.
Definitely. Go to the store, get your like sweat wicking Nike dry fit shirts and your gym shorts.
In fact, you may have already even noticed that at the
Deodorant.
arcade, there's a certain kind of standard set of apparel
Yeah.
and towel, water bottle.
You got to bring a towel.
We'll
You're
talk
going to
about
start
that.
sweating, and you're going to need the towel. Yeah, you're going to need the towel to drape it over the bar so that you don't slip around when you're holding the bar.
I usually bring 2 towels. I bring one for the bar and then one for my face. So I'm not,
that's
so that-
advanced.
So that
you don't
I'm,
have to get that advanced.
So that I'm not. I mean, you just use a hand towel for your face, but you don't want to like
just
have your
sanitary.
Germs.
have your towel on the
just
bar
need
that other people are
sanitary.
using,
Yeah.
and then wipe it on your face.
Yeah.
But shoes are important, and
Because you use your feet to play this game.
This is the game where you use your
everybody only
feet.
has one opinion about shoes, right?
yeah,
There's
just
only
one.
one shared opinion.
Yeah, like there's one
Say it on 3. Ready?
there's one type of shoe that will make you the best at dance games, and like you cannot be good at dance games unless you have this one specific type of shoe.
And scene.
Yeah.
It is Crocs. No.
So just imagine that you're going for a run. You're a serious runner. I think that's the kind of shoe. That's how you should be dressing.
Yeah.
For DDR. So it doesn't really
Running
matter.
shoes, really.
Yeah, running shoes. Doesn't really matter what brand it is. We tend to like Nike Freeze.
Yeah.
Here
Although
on the show.
the 2019 Nike Free not great. Gotta
They're not.
say.
No. Yeah.
I don't like
I'm
Nike
wearing the
Frees.
2018s right now.
But
you don't like them?
Other versions. I mean, yeah. What are you rocking?
Those are Nikes. That's for sure.
They are Nikes.
Don't play in.
You don't
these
want to
shoes.
play in these. It's not going to work.
I just switched to Flex Experience Nikes.
Yep,
And they're like really arched, and more. I think they're more light than the Nike Free series. I don't.
No.
They're probably more heavy. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
no
played in the
Yeah,
in the
They
Flex
feel
Experience.
really good though. I like them a lot.
Yeah. So I mean, shoes are a
Very
matter.
subjective.
It's
very
subjective. Shoes are a matter of opinion.
Some people really like the thin shoes. I just
Yeah.
tried the Zero, Speed Force.
Yeah.
I didn't like them because I stomp really hard and it just kind of feel like my heels were just
no
gonna
support.
hurts your feet.
shatter.
Yeah, a lot of people played in Puma tapers for a long time. Puma like Speed Cats, I think they're called, are still fairly popular among some people.
But really, you don't want to play in steel-toed boots.
Nope.
You don't want to play in high heels.
I
And-
don't even know how people play in Converse
Yeah, it's very difficult.
It's hard.
or like Vans. Like Brosoni
You
plays
slip
in
a lot.
Vans,
Yeah.
which is wild.
Impossible.
But yeah,
You get shin splints so quickly.
find something that's comfortable for you. Try out different things. Don't give up on something immediately, I would say. Like if you're trying out a new shoe, it takes a little bit of time to get used to. And I noticed moving from like my old shoes to my more minimal shoes now that like my legs use different muscles depending on what shoes I'm wearing.
It's true.
Yeah. So maybe if you would really want to cross train, you want to change shoes every single song. Just sort of like, muscle confusion.
That's a great idea.
But I mean, so like
I like that.
Chris Chaik, one of the best players in the world, wears
Like the heaviest shoes
like
possible.
huge moon boots and still does amazing. He's also ripped as hell. So, I mean, there's that. His very strong legs can lift up the shoes.
So far we've talked about like e-amusement, we've talked about pre-planning, but I feel like I want to speak directly to the player who like maybe played DDR like in the extreme days and like
What's
has
different?
not had DDR and now is like what, like A20, and like
Yeah.
I think a lot of things since that era have changed. So if you haven't played since like 03 or 04, like AAAs now are like something completely different. Like it's like a score threshold.
Yeah,
in
they
the
changed
game.
the scoring system.
Yeah, the scoring system's all completely
The
different.
difficulty ratings are
Yeah, you can get
different
full
scale.
combos with goods as well, which is pretty cool. The difficulty rating goes to 19 now. We're hoping it goes to 20 soon, but there are a
Yeah.
lot of these differences that like I think
The difficulty
may take
scale.
you
Maybe
for-
maybe talking about that is
Yeah.
useful. So now, like as of DDR-X in 2008, they changed the difficulty scale. So instead of going from 0 to 10 or 1 to 10, it goes from 1 to 20. And there's no
Basically.
20s, but there's 19s. And if you know max 300 is a 15. So it's kind of like
Good
1.5 times
Yeah.
the old scale.
Yeah, most things are roughly. I mean, like Max and Limited PSMO are 16s. So I mean, but mostly.
But that should
yeah.
make sense to you because they're harder than Max 300.
And we used
Yeah.
to have like 4 hard songs, and now there's like a zillion.
Yeah, like just a normal song.
150 or so.
Can,
Total songs, aren't there like over 800 songs
yeah, I
in
think so.
H2O?
Probably getting with A20 now, it's probably getting close to 900.
So there's a
That's
huge
cool.
variety,
Yeah,
just like
that's
a
really
huge
cool.
variety of songs,
Yeah.
like a lot of really good music.
Yeah.
That's DDR has tracked the trends, especially really well over the past few years. With dance music has just gotten so much better, and DDR is way better now at paying attention to the trends in dance music. So there's a lot of good music. It's just I think
Yeah.
What do
that's
you
the
guys
reason to
think?
get into
If
DDR.
I'm an old time DDR player, I played a lot in 2000. What difficulty do you think I should be starting at if I have some experience in DDR, but maybe it's been a long time since I've played?
Like
Should I start on basic or should I start on difficult?
probably hop in at like 10s, 12s.
Yeah.
Like if you used,
Yeah, like
if, you,
12.
if you used to play fairly often.
I think 12 is good.
So it's on the upper scale between basic and difficult, somewhere. Some
Yeah,
some
so like
10s.
Healing Vision Angelic Mix is a 12.
Yeah.
Or Sakura is a 13.
Yeah.
Those are songs that people would recognize. Was that like 11?
11.
Yeah.
Cartoon Heroes
Cartoon
is
Heroes doesn't exist. Well, actually, it does.
16 actually.
got him.
Yeah.
But I don't even know what the
On the
difficult
gold
chart is
caps.
on. Is it what's the difficult chart on the new Cartoon Heroes?
It's 14.
14?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So actually, that's a good segue too, because like now, back in the day, it was just like we only played on heavy, and now I think it's like much more accepted that you sort by difficulty, and like for example, a common kind of breaking into high tier play accomplishment is getting all PFCs, which are the new AAAs, perfect full combos, on the level 14 folder. And to do that, you have to actually get a lot of difficult charts. And that's seen as
Difficult
okay now.
it used to be called Trick,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
used to be called Standard.
Standard,
Yeah.
yeah. And that's totally like welcomed. And honestly, the difficult charts are some of the hardest ones that you will have to do.
Yeah.
Thinking of Pluto the First. So that's interesting also, right? So like when you ask about like what difficulty, don't focus so much on like the tiers, but more like what is the actual number rating, because that's much more descriptive, I think.
Yeah, I mean, there are difficult charts that are way harder than expert or
Yeah.
challenge
Yeah,
charts.
so the difficulties now, I think it's like beginner, basic, difficult, expert, challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And before it used to be beginner, basic, standard, heavy, challenge. So it's kind of pretty much the same.
But yeah, there's just a lot more kind of like overlap as songs have gotten on the higher
Yeah.
have gotten harder, that their respective easier charts are
Definitely.
still pretty difficult.
So yeah, I think what we're saying is just pay attention to the difficulty number, and not so
Yeah,
much
the number is the important thing, and
the
just
tier.
keep in mind that if you were playing 7-footers back in the day, you can play 10s now.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
And the timing feels a lot better.
Yeah,
lot
timing is
better.
way easier now
lot
in a much more forgiving sense.
Yeah, it
yeah.
doesn't feel as like random of like you're like, why did I get a great? Like if you got a great on
You felt it.
A20,
I think
like
it's night and day, honestly.
yeah, you can like tell like you're like, okay, I deserve that. Whereas like playing on extreme and stuff, you're like, what?
That literally just happened. I
Yeah.
was literally playing
Vanity Angel.
Vanity
basic.
Angel and Light, yeah. And I'm just like, I'm marvelous, great on the Light song, and I'm just like, I don't understand what I did
Yeah.
wrong.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So there's a lot of new charts, a lot of new songs.
A lot.
How do you go about learning all this?
Well, there's plenty of ways. One thing we have now that we didn't really have back then is YouTube.
Yeah.
And there's some accounts on YouTube. One in particular, UEScene.
Yeah.
And on USN's account, there's like YouTube videos of basically Stepmania running, every chart that's in DDR.
Yeah.
So if you want to just see like, come to life challenge, single, you can just type that into YouTube, and the first result is going to be the
Just
USN
like,
video.
yeah, that,
And it
that
and it
channel.
has the assist tick, the Stepmania assist tick.
So it's really good for learning stuff, especially if you're at work or you're doing something where you don't have
Can't be playing
access to Stepmania.
But Stepmania is a great tool to learn all these charts.
So
that,
what
like,
is Stepmania?
Well, it's dance games for your fingers on the computer.
Yeah.
But now there's so you can download Stepmania if you go to xeniusivanisher.com. Well, it's xenius-i-vanisher.com.
Yeah, we'll link that in the description.
There's a sim file database.
Sim file is what people refer to as the files that you download that have the steps in them.
Yep.
So yeah.
There's a database of basically all of the ACE and A20 charts.
And all the other ones.
Well, yes.
And more you don't want.
Yeah, basically every chart you could possibly ever play. So you can download them all and practice them on Stepmania at home without
Yeah,
having
so
to spend money at the
to
arcade.
get Stepmania, search on Google for Stepmania or go to stepmania.com.
.org.
I think it's .com.
I think it's .com.
Oh,
Yeah.
never mind. I thought it was
Dot .org is their
Actually-
is their philanthropy division.
It's .gov, I think.
Oh, right.
Stepmania.gov. Yeah, so I mean, Stepmania is great because you can just at least familiarize yourself a little bit with every chart, and then
Yeah.
if there are particular charts that are very difficult or have tricky sections, have lots of stops and BPM changes, that you can really hone in on learning all that stuff, and you don't have to dump so much time into the arcade.
Yeah.
And it does still help with your timing. I think playing Stepmania does.
It does. So
it-
if you play Stepmania and you treat it like it's the game and you're still playing with your fingers, then if you try and get a really good score on Stepmania, it's going to translate into getting better at DDR.
yeah, not directly, but
I mean,
I mean not
as directly as anything can indirectly translate.
You're not
You know-
going to get the same scores
Yeah.
on
DDR is a mind game as much as it is a body
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
So when you're training the mind, you got to train the body.
There's a new song called Mind Game, so you can play that.
Yeah.
While you're mind gaming yourself.
It's a 14. It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's even the DDR A theme. I don't know if that's on Stepmania.com. I don't know where to get themes these days.
Yeah, I don't use it.
But if you want it to look mostly like the actual DDR theme,
Sort of.
you can. So that's cool.
I think if you were interested back in the day, or you did make your own sim files, and all this has kind of been reviewed for you, there's a new program you can Google called Arrow Vortex that's actually way better for making sim files than Stepmania is, in my opinion. With such features as using the mouse and other other fun ways of interacting with the program.
Is that the one that puts the waveform of the song?
It does,
behind
yeah.
it?
You can
That's super cool.
underlay the waveform of the song, so you can directly map to the quantization of the music, which is pretty cool. Like if you the accepted subjective sync is like on the attacks of the notes, right? When the notes play. So you can clearly see that and put a note there. So that's also good for practicing. It's, I think, way lighter than StepMania. You don't have to like boot up the entire program, open edit mode or whatever. You can kind of just open Arrow Vortex, drag a sim file in there and just see it. So another option if you're looking to practice or looking to make your own.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So how about at the arcade?
Yeah. When you get to the arcade and you have your towel, and you have your
Deodorant.
your shirts, deodorant,
Deodorant.
Like I'm not saying this to be one of those people. Like I hate when the anime conventions they say bring deodorant or whatever. No, I'm not saying it to like be mean, but the couch failed a little bit. But yeah, if you want,
Okay.
a lot of times what happens
I'm
to
just
me
gonna go over
is
here.
I'll go to the arcade and I realize that they don't sell deodorant at the mall, and I I just want to be pretty sure that nothing is going to happen, so I have to bring it.
Yeah.
So deodorant, you got your Monster energy drink, you got your shoes, your towels. What do you do when you're actually interacting with the rest of the players or the machine itself?
Yeah, just basic arcade etiquette.
Yeah. So maybe we'll start with what to do if there's a line of people to play. I don't know.
Fucking
I mean,
it's IKEA. Don't worry about it.
yeah, the couch is 5 years old.
That's great.
And if you've seen our old episodes, that we had to move this couch every single time from about like 15 feet that way and like flip the couch around, so it got moved a lot. And anybody who has moved IKEA furniture knows.
Yeah, there's a limited number of lives that it gets.
Number of moves.
We had to prop up that corner with a rock.
Yeah, there's a rock under here. The rock probably slipped.
So funny.
So
Hey,
I'm dying.
This episode's brought to you by
IKEA.
IKEA.
Anyway,
Where
so
were we?
so you'll
card
you'll
lines.
see either a white machine or a gold machine.
yeah,
The gold machine is hard to miss because it's gold.
yeah.
Like like too gold.
Yeah, very
Really
very
gold.
gold.
Way too gold.
So what are the differences between these machines?
So the gold machine is the newest model of DDR machine. There's a lot of different models of DDR machines, but the gold machine is the newest one. It's the DDR A20 20th anniversary cabinet. Konami made this because it's the 20th anniversary of DDR. Was it last year? I think it was last year, actually. And it's all gold. It's huge. The screen is really big. It's like 55 inches.
And it's flat.
And it's flat
And it's
right in front of
downscaled.
you. And it's like a 55-inch monitor running a game at 720 resolution, 1280 by 720. So the pixels are pretty big.
But
you can
it's,
see them.
it's really bright. There's
Really
LEDs
bright.
all over the place. It's
Yeah.
quite colorful in some regards.
And flashy.
So
Yeah.
typically, when you have an EMU's card and you use it to log into a DDR machine, you're able in the USA to select premium mode, which gives you the opportunity to get 4 songs instead of 3 by doing some stuff, which we can talk about. On the gold cabs, however, you will not be able to do this because reasons.
Because they're set to the Japan region, and we can't have PASELI on our cards,
Yeah.
and
So-
it's a whole thing.
Other bonuses
Yeah.
that you don't get on the gold cab are with premium mode, you can do 0.25x increments of speed mods up to 4. Then it goes 4.5, 5, 5.5. And on the gold cabs, you're just always stuck to 0.5 increments no matter what.
Yeah.
So no opportunity for 4 songs. Worse speed mods.
but
Blocky, pixely graphics.
there's like 5 different songs that you can only play on the gold
More.
cab.
Because there's the Golden League, which is an event.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like features that the
there's
gold
like-
version
It's like
has.
10, 12.
Yeah.
Like there's this like ranking system called Golden League,
Yeah.
and there's what's the other thing that you can do,
I mean, there's the Dawn courses, but
The
that's
Dawn courses.
only in Japan.
which
Yeah.
is like basically like see what your black belt ranking is in
Yeah.
DDR, and the gold cabs are only available at round 1 right now, and Dave & Buster's, the machines that we talked about in the beginning of the episode that are coming to Dave & Buster's are the white cabs. And the white cabs, I think we generally prefer those.
Yeah.
But the gold cabs are good too. If you see one, that's all you have. It's worth playing, obviously. And
I think they're great. I think
yeah.
the songs that are on the gold cabs, I think, are worth the like minor setbacks that you have to face.
Yeah.
Like,
so some of the Golden League unlocks are really
I love
good.
all of them. I think that they're some of the best songs in DDR history. Actually, that's my strong opinion.
So once you see one of these machines, you can log into this thing with your e-amusement card, or not, and start playing the game.
Yeah.
And there's actually, in the new version of DDR, Ace 2.0, and it's not A20, it's Ace 2.0, but you don't have to say that. You can say A20 if you want. There's a language select, so you can select English or Korean or Japanese if you're Korean or Japanese, and
Or if you just want to.
or if you just want to see the other languages.
What a
Right? It's the
different
spice of
language
life.
looks.
Just
Yeah, and
spice it up.
so the UI is maybe not the most obvious thing, but if you're a gamer, you can probably figure it out. Especially if you're a DDR person. You know, if you played DDR back in the day.
There are up and down buttons on the machine.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
there's
it's
up
really
and down
satisfying.
buttons now.
I think the most important thing to remember is that you will be asked about this premium play thing. So
Yeah.
we talked about the premium play. It's something you definitely want to do.
Yeah.
It gets you the extra
It
stage.
costs you nothing. It just gives
Costs you
you extra
nothing.
stuff.
So this is going to be one of the choices. It's a little confusing the first time you play because the cancel button is the first thing that's selected. So you're going to want to make
You're
sure.
so bad at UI design.
Good UI.
You're just
good
gonna want
UX.
to look out for this option when you're presented with the option for premium play. Go ahead and hit those arrow keys and select premium play, and not cancel. 'Cause
Yeah.
that's not
and
the
not
best
normal
mode.
mode. And watch out that the buttons on your machine do not stick, because that happens sometimes. Then you get stuck playing normal mode, and it sucks.
And you mostly want premium mode for the speed mods thing, but
Yeah.
but also for extra stage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
It's
if you
another
do well
song.
enough on all 3 songs, you can get extra stage. Like back in the extreme days, and for people who don't know what this is at all, you can normally the game is just 3 songs, and you can get a 4th song extra stage if you reach some sort of arbitrary like score threshold.
Well, yeah, it's
I can tell. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, there's like 9 gem things that you get if you're playing by yourself. You can get 3 gems per song max. Either if you AAA the song, you get 3, or if you play on Life 4, you can get like a bonus gem even if you don't AAA it.
Yeah, Life 4 is a special option that you can turn on where if you miss 4 lives or if you
It's
miss
old
4 arrows,
battery.
yeah, then you die.
It's basically like old Oni mode.
But if you know
it's-
you're going to full combo the song, then you can choose Life 4 to get the bonus. So,
yeah.
It
Pro tip.
also carries over between sets. So if you fill up only like 4 gems in one playthrough of 3 songs, the next time you'll start the game with 4 gems already filled, so you'll only have to get 5.
Yep.
so you'll
get to the
eventually get
9.
extra stage no matter what.
Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, arcade etiquette.
Yeah.
Some arcades use card lines. Not
Yeah.
not every arcade does.
Definitely, most important thing. I think I encourage everyone to play with another person.
Yeah.
You know, don't let people wait in line. It's a great way to learn songs. I think it's a good way to meet people at the arcade, and it's a great way to learn how to use the interface.
So if there's other
especially
people
if it's your
there
first
waiting to
time.
play, play with them.
Yeah.
And if someone's going up, don't wait till they're done. Just be like, "Can I play with you?" And if they say no, ask them again, and just kind of try and kill them with kindness until they let you play with you. It's like that's the right way to go, I think.
Yeah. And
And reciprocate.
yeah,
and
exactly. Like
offer-
be open to playing with other people.
Yeah,
because
offer
it
the
always
second
helps.
player.
They're going to play stuff that you're not going to want to play, which is going to make you better.
Mm-hmm.
And making friends is good. And also maximizing the throughput of the DDR machine is the best.
Yeah.
That's really what
I
we're
find
getting
that
at.
100% of the time, like literally, anytime another person's playing single and doesn't want me to play, it's because they want to pick all the songs, and so I'm just like, hey, I'm happy to let you pick all the songs. I just want to play DDR, and they're like, okay, cool, like 100% of the time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I do that too sometimes. Like
think it's-
if I'm just like, I just want to.
yeah,
Yeah. I mean, with Ace, sometimes you would want to build your heat meter thing, which isn't a thing anymore. But even now, it's like, hey, you never know. Like, whatever songs they pick, like you can still get new scores on them, or like play songs that you haven't played before.
Yeah.
Which is a great just opportunity to play more stuff.
and if you're the only 2 people playing DDR, then you could just be like, cool, why don't you pick this set, and then I'll pick the next set, and then there you go, you made a new friend.
Also, I think in general for me,
Maybe.
my ideal number of people playing at the arcade is 3, because there's always 2 people playing, and then there's a rotation that happens.
Yeah, so you
Yeah.
get a little
So you can
break.
stay
You get to take a
warm,
break,
and
yeah.
you don't ever cool down too much.
Yeah.
But I think the operative thing here is like DDR. The magic of DDR is that it's a very social game compared to most other video games. Is that you have to actually go somewhere physically to play it, and there's almost certainly going to be someone else there playing. So it's like a really good opportunity to make friends. We're all friends because of DDR, and we have some episodes like back in the day that we did. So if you want to look back in our YouTube channel, we did a bunch of episodes about community and what the game means to us. But we're gonna just speed past that right now.
Totally. So do we have any general tips about like just high level, like how to progress, how to get better at the game? What should you focus on? We've talked about a lot of this like in the past, but like
Yeah.
sort of general overview of
When you're getting started, I think definitely stay regular. Try to make it like at least a weekly thing, or
like
just
make it a habit.
make it a
Yeah.
habit. Find a time that you like to go play, and
Or
stick
maybe a
to it.
crew that you
yeah,
can
yeah.
assemble.
Yeah.
Find people to like hold. It helps hold yourself accountable.
Yeah.
If you say, hey, like we should go this week, then you can both go and like
Yeah.
motivate yourselves to play more, which Roger and I need to do because
Yeah,
neither of
definitely.
us have played in like 2 weeks.
It's been a while.
My number one tip is to go to life4ddr.com, the number 4.
Yeah. So for progression, that's
For
a great tip.
progression, yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're the type of gamer that enjoys kind of overcoming plateaus or like kind of facing and overcoming challenges, self-improvement, completionism, I would say that those are kind of the characteristics that make up Life 4. It's just a way to basically take it to another level of competitiveness.
Yeah,
similar
Life-
to other games where you have like tiers and skill level, like Magic Arena or Hearthstone or League of Legends. All these games where there's like ranking. That's what. That's
Yeah.
what it
Life
is.
4 is a DDR based it's like a outside of the game ranking system.
Yeah,
basically.
it's community driven.
Yeah.
Led by Ben Madsen, who's a player in Kentucky who does a lot of things. But Omid and myself help out with Life 4 as well. So yeah, you can get started at the very lowest levels if you're at Wood, I think. Wood,
Yeah, it's the
Wood
first
1,
one.
Wood
Yeah,
2,
yeah.
Wood 3 is like the first entry level. But, then it
DDR machines are actually made of wood. It's like they don't want you to know that.
Until you're good enough for them to be made out of bronze,
and then gold.
And then
and
gold?
then they get made out.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
That's
but-
your Cobalt DDR machine yet?
Oh, Cobalt
Coming
would be
soon?
great. Yeah, so there's all these
They used to have that.
there's all these different rankings, and they have different requirements at each level. And as you kind of progress through the levels, it's very gradual.
Yeah.
And it becomes a little bit more broad. Once you get past gold, you start to hit. Well, there's a new one coming out called Platinum, and then Diamond, which is where you start having to complete folders, which I think is an kind of a new concept.
It's a new concept in DDR.
Especially with score saving now. That like before, like you could technically like track folders on Extreme, like
Yeah, if you were like, okay, I AAA'd all the songs in the Y folder
yeah, nice
or whatever.
Just Yozoro Numiko.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's mostly based on difficulty folders now is kind of the big thing because you get like a lamp, which is the color that shows up when you play a certain song or a certain folder. So
Yeah,
if you played every song in a folder, that folder will be lit up with the basically lowest type of lamp. So there's red lamp, which is passing. Well, I guess the lowest is just kind of like a yellow. A sort of dullish yellow lamp is just like you pass the song. Red lamp is passing with Life 4, which you actually have to have it enabled. Even if you pass a song and get like 1 or 2 misses, unless you had Life 4 enabled, you don't get the red
That's very
lamp.
confusing.
Yeah. There's the purple lamp, which is if you play with like cut or like freeze off. But then it goes up through blue, green. Blue is if you get full good combo, green full great combo. And then PFC, perfect full combo, is like a yellowish, whitish lamp.
Yeah.
And then Marvelous full combo, MFC, which is the new kind of
the new target.
Yeah,
basically.
The new perfect score.
the new AAA basically, but much harder. It's like a white rainbow lamp.
It's a
Yeah.
beautiful
It
color.
is.
Yeah, so Life 4 uses these lamps and like average scores and things. So it's a really good system. We're kind of like patting ourselves here on the back.
There's other really great communities. Like if Life 4 sounds, if you look at it and it's like too comprehensive or whatever, like if you identify as a woman, there's this awesome community called Valkyrie Dimension. It's run by, I guess, a couple ladies both in New York and the West Coast. And it's, I think, a really supportive community. I think it's much smaller than Life 4. But again, it's like super great supporting women in gaming. I think, it's always awkward, I think, being amongst all the dudes. So gives you a space to kind of just feel comfortable. And they do a really good job at running events. They do remote events. They have 3 distinct tiers where you match up against girls in your tier. It's just like again really supportive community. There's also Black Flag Academy, which again is like kind of in the 150 person range. It's like smaller than Life 4, which is about 650 people now, which is insane.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and BFA as they call themselves, they're kind of more in the mid tier, and so their focus. If you're, for example, coming back to DDR from being very competitive back in the extreme days, like that would be a great fit for you. The kind of like graduation, everything is kind of like educational themed. So the graduation is a 15 PFC. So that's really hard. So that's
might take you a while.
Yeah, so that might take you a while if you're coming back to DDR. So
And we did an episode about Black Flag Academy
with the founder,
with
Sega
the founder.
J.
So go ahead and check that out. If
Absolutely.
You listen to that.
And we
yet.
did an episode about. Well, it wasn't all about Life 4, I guess, but
We did like
We've
a
done one about
Q&A.
everything. We've
Yeah.
done Life
But
4,
make a
we've done
Twitter.
Valkyrie.
I think make a Twitter account. That's a great first
Yeah.
step.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of DDR.
On
folks.
that note, we can switch into engaging on social media. Like there's a huge DDR community on Twitter. Instantly, you got to follow SF Evolved, SF_Evolved on Twitter, and all of us, obviously.
You'll see us out there.
but also, I mean, there's just so many great people, like locally and just
Exactly.
across the country, across the world. It's fun seeing Japanese people and Korean people like post their scores and stuff
Yeah.
too, and just like engaging with everybody. But yeah, Twitter, like the vibe on Twitter is a lot different than Facebook. Like, so there are Facebook groups. There's a Facebook group called DDR Players, which has 5,000 people in it now. So it's people of like all skill levels and like involvement with the game. I think some people just kind of like randomly join because they're like, oh, I played DDR in high school, but
A couple Craigs. Craigs in there.
There's a lot of ways to get involved. There's a DDR plus ITG players group also.
Because they're the same game.
Yeah, basically, totally. Yeah, I mean, so there, and the groups that Omid mentioned, there's so many great ways to get involved. But I think Twitter is really
That's where the action is, I think, and especially like where most of the top tier players are posting their scores and giving advice. I think that happens a lot. Is that they'll ask like, how do I do this one thing? And then you'll have like 6 different like top tier players responding.
yeah.
And then like 90 different people responding and arguing with that. But somewhere in there, you're going to get some useful information.
I think the conversations on Twitter are usually better than on Facebook. They don't quite get derailed as fast.
But either way, like if you're a Facebook user, there's you can obviously make friends with DDR people in your area. Like just connect with the local players at your arcade on social media. I think that's the right way to go.
And that would be my number one gameplay tip, honestly, because I think if you're drawn to DDR, then you're gonna keep playing it for your own reasons, like whether it's exercise or whether you like the sting and flow and getting all marvelouses or whatever. And I think that the thing that you don't really maybe know is like what's happening on the internet and like how do I connect to other people doing this thing.
Yeah.
And I think that's the key.
Yeah, and you can just see
That's how it's sticky.
you can just like see so much outside of your own community. You like see the other scores that people are getting. You're like, man, I want to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you just like realize what's possible.
Yeah.
There's also the reddit.com/r/Dance Dance Revolution, which I kind of lurk there. I look at it all the time. I don't really post that much, but maybe we should post. and we're definitely going to post this video and this podcast episode on there, I think. And there's a lot of people talking on there, and there tends to be some news about most of the major events. So if you're a Reddit user, you can check that out. Like we said, there's also ddrcommunity.com, and
which has all sorts of resources.
Yeah.
There's like a community listing if you want to find out where. We just did an episode, like I think our last episode before this was about DDR community. But yeah, there's like listings of like your local communities, like Facebook and Discord pages and things like that.
There's a lot of Discord groups. So, like
we've got one SF Evolve Discord group.
We have SF Evolve Discord. There's the Ohio DDR Discord. There's a Kentucky DDR Discord. There's the Colorado Rhythm Game Discord. So like wherever you are, there's probably some sort of regional community.
Totally. Do we have any other general tips about? How about something that comes up a lot is like, should I focus on timing or should I focus on passing?
Yeah.
Passing stuff.
Focus on having fun.
Absolutely agree.
Focus on doing what you want, and you don't have to treat it like a job, although you should.
We think it makes it more fun.
Yeah, I mean we do, but it's whatever you find enjoyable about the game. Personally, to me, it's timing and the social aspect, and everyone has their different perspectives on that. But the best thing to remember is that it's a game, and I think for me and a lot of players, like sometimes you get upset with the scores that you're getting or whatever, and you forget that you went to the arcade, you went to an arcade to play video games, to have fun.
Game, okay.
Yeah, a video game.
Just kidding. Play Pump also, it's good.
So it's,
I haven't played the new 2DX yet, and I feel like an idiot.
So yeah, it's whatever you have fun doing, but it is very fun to try, and that's what we're all about is like...
setting a goal.
Yeah, setting goals and
It's
achieving
like
the
passing
goals.
that particular song, or just getting better at getting perfects and marvelouses in general.
Yeah.
Helps.
Yeah, I mean, I think like playing as much different stuff as you can is always good advice. Like just exposing yourself to as many new charts, just different techniques. So like maybe you have one session where you focus on like timing stuff and you're trying to get AAAs on 13s or whatever, and then like maybe try to pass a new 16 or a new 17.
Yeah.
And then the next time you go, like work on like something a little bit different, or like try and pass 5 17s.
The couch is just gradually failing.
And I think that's great advice. I think it's a little bit of A, a little bit of B. Like, you want to make sure that the goals you're setting are fun, and if they're not, you have to adjust something there.
Change the goal.
And and I think that's why I started by encouraging these communities, because like Valkyrie Dimension, BFA, Life 4, they will kind of do the goal setting for you. Mm-hmm. And so if you're showing up and having fun, then that's kind of just naturally going to get you better. It's just like this natural loop of you show up at these communities, you do the stuff that they're asking you to do because it's hard and challenging, you have fun, you get better, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So.
Yeah, I think I think having some sort of external motivation, because like a lot of times you're like, I don't know what to play, and you just end up playing the same like 10 songs that
one good thing to do
you always
is
like.
that, as we were talking about earlier, it shows you when you played a song, and it shows you when you played all the songs in a folder. So if you want to go back and play all of the DDR first mix songs, and then all of the second mix songs, and then all the third mix songs, play all of the songs, and then you'll get better.
Absolutely.
And it's a good way. That's a good way of like kind of reliving the nostalgic experience. Because if you're getting back into DDR after a long time of not playing, you probably just want to play some stuff that you used to know.
Yeah, it can be scary to like jump into.
So you can
to
just
all
go
the new
back
stuff.
and play all the old stuff in order.
And you can even play on the 20th anniversary like throwback.
Yeah, there's
themes. There's
what do they call it? Like
DDR selection.
Yeah.
There's a special folder. I think it's under events. If you go to DDR selection, there are like different groups of like certain songs from like the past mixes that when you play them, they play on the old style theme basically, but the timing is still good.
I believe you need a e-amusement card for that too.
Oh yeah, probably.
It's quite the fan service. It's pretty cool that they did that.
Yeah.
It's just kind of amazing that they would even go through the effort to do all
It's
that.
a lot of fan service.
It's very cool. I think that's why they kept it even in.
So you can play
820.
like Max 300 and the Extreme UI and stuff like that.
It's very cool. But yeah, I mean, as we said, like set goals, study up, play on Stepmania.
I 100% did what Roger was talking about.
Just go through the.
When Ace came out in 2016, that's 100% how
Yeah, same.
I went first through, like, I want to say like Supernova, and then I was just like, okay, well, like now I have covered what I have played, and then Supernova 2 to Ace, I was just like, oh, this sounds neat, and I would just be like, okay, I'd like bounce around, and I'd be like, all right, I was like, I'd be like, I'm satisfied, and then I would actually go back and then fill in Supernova 2. And then do X, and then et cetera, et cetera. So, I don't know. I think it's a fun way to progress. You just play all the stuff you know.
It's like mostly top-heavy in terms of like the newest mixes have the most songs.
Yeah.
So like in first mix, there's just a few.
There's like 4 songs.
There's like 4 songs.
There's,
And it's mostly because the
6.
licensed music that used to exist in DDR is not there anymore. So, you know, all the songs like Cartoon Heroes or Dom Dari Ram or Captain Jack, like those songs are gone. And the reason is because Konami had like limited license periods for those songs that have expired like over a decade ago.
Yeah.
And so they only have the songs in there that they made. And thankfully there's like most of them are good, right? So but there's new licensed songs which hopefully will never go away. And we've got so most of the new mixes have most of the songs. So you can kind of blow through the original folders pretty quickly.
Which is sick, because once you get to 820, in my opinion, it's the best mix ever made. So
it's really good.
Yeah,
that's cool. It's a cool end.
I would still recommend playing the new stuff for sure, because it is.
It's much more approachable.
Do half and
I think,
half,
too.
I would say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So switch it up.
The music itself is more approachable, I think.
Totally.
to
Yeah, it's a lot more like modern. If you're not even if you're like an old school player, but if you're just like a brand new player, like you're like, whoa, like I've been wanting to play more DDR, and now we finally have a machine here. Like play the A20 stuff. Don't play Daikenkai like 6 times in a row.
I mean, you can.
Unless
but
you like it.
I mean,
there's so many songs
you
that
can,
are good.
but like there's
you know?
so much more to experience. Like just try and get out of that.
Broke, Daikenkai, woke, Amera.
Honestly, yeah, Amera's great.
That's the new Daikenkai.
Or the
'Cause I
Pitbull
only see
song.
weebs.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Oh, happy.
Pitbull song.
Happy. Yeah.
Is that all we have?
Is that going to do it for us? Should we try to fix this couch?
I don't know.
now?
I don't know. Is there anything else we just kind of like want to touch on, or?
I think, you know, we kind of just covered a lot of instructional stuff, and I just want to say, like, the reason that I play DDR is because it's touched absolutely every aspect of my life. My social life, you know, all my relationships. You know, like, I've learned so many technical skills and, you know, artistic skills from this game. I've learned to drop, you know, self-consciousness in public. Like, when you get sweaty at the mall, like, 4 or 5 times a week, you stop caring what other people think of you. And that helps a lot with pretty much everything in life. You know, you can just kind of totally get rid of, you know, your self-consciousness. And what else? There's like, you can make tons of friends. You can do
Travel to.
It's a great thing to
places.
do while traveling.
It's a reason to travel. Like, if you don't
Yeah.
have anything to do when you go to a new city, just be like, is there a Round One or a Dave & Buster's? Just go play.
And meet the people there.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, like I started playing when I was like 10 years old, and for almost like 20 years now, which is ridiculous. But most of my friends are through dance games, especially the people that I'm in pretty constant contact with, all through dance games. Pretty much every time I've ever traveled has been for dance games, or at least like 90% of the times.
Yeah.
That's not like family stuff. Has just been to like hang out with dance game people, even if we're not playing dance games, or to like compete. Like we went to Japan. Like I got a passport because of DDR, and like even like my professional life, like I learned how to do Photoshop, which is kind of how I started on my career path now. That by making sim files and sim file backgrounds in Photoshop. So it's like DDR has really like touched kind of every every part of my life.
It's the ultimate game.
It is. It's
really
the
is.
ultimate fusion of mankind, music, and machine. I think that,
Man, that is the tagline right there.
when you
No arguments
when
there.
you play this game,
Where's the lie?
every aspect of your mind and your body is synchronized with the game, and that game is synchronized with the United States Power Network. They're all oscillating at 60 hertz.
And we have
Roger
everyone
Clock's
else-
back.
we have an episode
So
about this as
everyone
well.
else who's playing this game, their minds and bodies are synchronized with yours.
Yeah.
Not to mention the person playing right next to you.
I
And
mean,
it's just an amazing
Like
transcendent
when
experience.
you're playing a song, there's probably somebody else in the world at the same time that's also playing that same song.
Especially now
It's
that
like
there's
it's like
way more
looking
DDR
up at
machines.
the moon in the night sky and thinking, my love is also looking.
Also, at the same time, someone's just ripping the rankest fart that's ever been ripped.
and they're going off.
Or you could be playing Moon.
Yeah.
Probably right next to you as well.
You could be playing Moon while somebody else is playing Moon. It's basically the same thing.
Do you have anything
DDR is
else to
great.
say?
I don't think so. I think that sums it up pretty well. The traveling thing, I think, is especially nice.
It's just
You know?
so good to show up somewhere and have a reason to go somewhere.
Yeah, you're going to San Francisco for a conference or something like that. Check out the local DDRC.
Denver,
Denver.
CPP
yeah.
Con.
Going for
Yeah.
CPP Con. Check it out.
Yeah. Well, and another plug for, I mean, a question that comes up a lot is like, what if I want to buy a pad at home?
Ah.
Well, you can go to Step Maniacs. I think is the best option. It's like a very high end option.
Yeah, it's kind of expensive.
I still think that you can find, if you go to like your local video game store, you could probably still find some of the old mixes for like PS2
And a soft pad.
with the soft pad, which
Yeah.
it's,
And you can tape it to a sheet of particle board, and
Yeah.
you can get up to heavy with that.
I
Yeah.
still think it's a great place to start. Yeah,
For sure.
Just it's definitely limiting when you get to higher difficulties, but it's if you're just starting out, it's a great place to learn.
Yeah, and
In
if
the
you have
comfort of your own home.
if you have like $1,500 to drop, you can buy a Step Maniacs pad, which is
Yeah.
like a
Arcade quality.
industrial quality.
Omid has one, or has
Yeah, I
two.
have a Gen 1. I think
Yeah.
it's really good. I would recommend it. Also, you can, if you happen to find like a old ITG or DDR cab on eBay or whatever, you could go to one of our community members over here, Sarah. She has a website called hackmycab.com, and you can try to figure out how to finagle your awesome $700 find.
Or less.
Or less.
Yeah.
Or $150 fine.
Yeah, whole machines are a lot less than you think.
And you can make it the way you want by following some of our guides on like customizing lighting or
Yeah.
basically getting
Getting
deep
it working.
into the
Repairs.
Yeah.
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 We have a whole episode about that too.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
And yeah, listen to the back catalog of the Aero
We
panel.
got a ton of episodes,
ton of
and we all
episodes.
talk about really important stuff.
You'll hear us talk about all these things except for like an hour each instead of like
Yeah.
2 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And can we just give a last send off here to rest in peace Kawasaki
Rest
Warehouse.
in peace, Kawasaki
oh,
Warehouse.
is it closed now officially?
It is. So I think it's still open. I saw someone post a picture today from Kawasaki Warehouse, but it's going to be closed soon. It's the ultimate cyberpunk arcade.
Legendary,
It's such a cool
in
place.
Japan.
legendary
Kawasaki.
arcade in Japan. We have any memories?
We brought the whole DDR crew, the KAC before last, and everybody really liked it.
Yeah, there's a big meetup there.
Yeah. There was an SF Evolved meetup there. I forgot about that.
But
Yeah.
arcades are back.
Yeah.
You know,
Arcades are
like
back, yeah.
that's
They're
an
back,
arcade
baby.
in Japan that maybe you'll never see. But we got round one now. We got Dave and Buster's has DDR machines.
The key is to just have alcohol at the arcade. I think is how arcades have
it
survived.
seems
now.
like
Maybe,
that's the way
The
it's going.
barcade. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or shady.
You don't have to drink alcohol, but
Shady
I mean,
gambling
it has to be offered.
it works in Japan also.
Yeah, totally.
So, just a one smoky dark floor where there's a bunch of slot machines, but they're not really slot machines. That works too.
Totally.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I think that'll do it for us for this episode.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. I think we're or listening. I think we're just really excited about the fact that everyone's gonna have more opportunities to play.
Yeah, and
Absolutely.
people don't have to drive like 4 hours to play
Absolutely.
anymore.
Yeah.
Um,
It's saving the environment.
It
More
is.
DDR cabinets, saving the environment.
thank
Less
you,
emissions.
Dave and Buster's. Dave and Buster are now co-heads of the EPA.
More qualified than other. Anyways.
Yeah. So I think that'll do it for this episode of the Aero Panel. Hopefully in the future we can do some more video content.
Yeah, we have some ideas.
Yeah. Dive a little bit.
We'll get around to it.
We'll get around to it. Dive a little bit deeper into some of these topics, I hope. Yeah.
Thank you for playing. Wait. No,
Oh yeah,
that's
no.
the other thing.
Our intro and outro music, which I'm sure we'll have, is by Akira Complex, who we also have an episode with, who's a Bimani composer. So
Who's hilarious and very talented.
thank you, Akira Complex. So anyway, thank you for listening and watching, and thank you for playing.